Welcome to CE 402 Environmental Engineering 2 Module 6 Part 7. In this session, I am going to discuss about the topic sludge disposal. What is a sludge disposal? That is the final disposal of the sludge after all the treatment. After dewatering process, we have to dispose it off, and whether it is incinerated, then the ash has to be disposed of. And if the incineration process is not done for this sludge, then after dewatering, we have to dispose of the sludge. Then after dewatering, it will be wet and it will be dry if it is incinerated. And from the sludge drying beds also, we get the sludge as dry sludge. The first method is burial or dumping into sea or other large bodies of water. This is the first method. This is possible only if the case of a city situated on the banks of large rivers or tidal waters. This is not common method of disposal because it is most contagious, and it will affect the aquatic life, and the availability of a large body of water should be available for the proper dilution of this sludge disposed in the water. The method requires careful consideration of all factors for proper design and siting of outfall to prevent any coastal pollution or interference with the navigation. If the sludge particles are disposed of in marine field, then there is a possibility of depositing it back to the shore. Then it will create nuisance to the public, that we have to consider while disposing this into the large water bodies. Then shallow burial into the ground. Sludge is run to trenches 0.9 meter wide and 0.6 meter deep and regularly spaced 0.9 to 1.5 meter apart and in parallel rows. When a sludge has dried to a firm state, it is covered with a thin layer of soil. When after about a month, land is plowed up with a powdered lime and planted with crops. Method of disposal called composting is useful, but objection is a very great area of land required, about 0.84 meters square per person. But this you should take care while the area where the water table is high, then it will also produce problems because the water will enter into these dried sludge and it will again create problems. So we have to consider the location of the land and the type of the land that available for this burial. Then the sludge lagooning. Sludge lagooning involves making earth tanks or ponds that is 0.6 to 1.2 meter deep and under draining them with 100 mm dia agricultural tile drains spaced at intervals of 2.7 meter. Bottom of the tank is covered with a 15 centimeter layer of clinker or ashes. Sludge is then run in and pumped in and allowed to remain there for a period of 2 to 6 months. And the moisture will be either drained off or evaporated, and contents are dug out to about half of their original volume and used as manure. This is the sludge lagooning, and this method is quite cheap. But the objection is the nuisance resulting from smell during the anaerobic decomposition and flies. And in the places where the high population is there, this is not permitted. And use of sludge lagoons for storage, digestion, dewatering, and final disposal of dried sludge may be adopted in isolated locations only. This is the picture of a sludge lagoon. You can see the under drains provided and the layer of ash or clinker, and you can see a thickness of 0.15, that is 15 centimeter thickness. Ash or clinker is provided at the bottom of the lagoons, sludge lagoons. Then the dumping method, the sludge may be disposed of in an abandoned mine or quarry. This method may be adopted only for sludges that has been stabilized, that is the organic compounds present and all the other compounds present in the sludge should be stabilized so that no decomposition or noisome condition will arise in that area. Thus, this method can safely adopted for digested sludge, clean grit and incinerator residue. Then the landfill, it is suitable site is available or available a sanitary landfill can be used for disposal of both stabilized or unstabilized sludges. However, dewatering is recommended before such disposal so that the cost of hauling the sludge to the site of disposal is reduced. Considering all these disposal methods, we have to consider the type of the land and type of location and the level of water table in that location and the sources of groundwater and the sources of clean water that from where we are taking water for drinking purposes. These all factors you have to consider, and while proposing or designing such a sludge disposal sites. I hope you all understood the session about the sludge disposal. Thank you for listening, and thank you once again. This is the end of 6th module. Thank you.